welcome to Every Movie I've Ever Seen. This is a special Fuck You It's January edition, where throughout January I'm going to be talking about bad movies, particularly bad movies with a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, the thing that I'm going to be talking about today is 365 Days. I think it would be more appropriate to call it 365 hours, because that's how long it felt watching this thing. And I use thing because movie is not an accurate description for this. And I'm not saying that as like a movie versus film versus cinema thing that, snobby people talk about. This isn't a movie. This is like a hour and a half softcore porno music video shopping montage. This thing was atrociously bad. It was terrible. Like, I don't have the words to properly convey just how bad this was. I mean, they should have sent a poet. But this was bad. First, this movie came out in 2020. I don't understand why a movie like this is coming out in 2020. Why are we making a movie about a rapist gangster who kidnaps a girl and then she falls in love with him? Why is that a movie we're making? That seems weird to be making a movie like that. Not only is it incredibly boring, I mean, it took me like 3 times. Took like 3 sittings for me to actually get through this. I'd watch half hour, like, I can't watch any more of this. I just gotta stop. There's just so many things that are wrong with this. The people in the movie, I'm not using the word actors, because I can only assume they're not actually actors. Like I assume the main woman in the movie is like some internet Instagram model who has just started opening up an OnlyFans, and I assume the main male in the movie is like a Calvin Klein underwear model, because their only attributes to this movie are being attractive. So they're not actors, which is fine because this isn't a movie. Like I said, it's a softcore porno / music video, because there's so much music in this movie. I don't understand it. It's just constantly songs, and not like little snippets of songs like what Suicide Squad did. Suicide Squad, it had too many songs, but it would play like the chorus of an Eminem song and then would move on to something else. No, this would play like a whole song. This played a 3-minute long song, and then you'd get like 5 minutes of rest, and then another 3-minute long song would play, and then this just continued on and on throughout the movie. There's like 30 songs in this movie, and they're not any songs you've heard of. So this is half music video, half shopping montages, because a lot of shopping montages for some reason. I don't know why there's so many shopping montages either. And then it's, of course, half softcore porno, because there's a lot of sex scenes where, she's says but, you don't actually see anything, hence the softcore side of things. Like I said, I mean, I don't understand. It's super weird and problematic that this plot of her falling in love with the dude who kidnapped her. And then she just dies at the end. The movie just kind of ends. It's like, the movie's just going on, it's just happening, and then it just suddenly ends. Like, oh, she died. He's sad. Whatever. This was very bad. This was a really bad movie. This makes the last couple movies I watched look good in comparison. This is easily top 10 worst films I've ever seen. I wouldn't be surprised if it makes my top 5. worst films I've ever seen. It could honestly be there. The only redeeming quality of this movie is that it wasn't Kong Skull Island. So I mean, that's something. But the movie was just painful. Just painful. I mean, the last time I felt like this watching a movie was The Howling 4, which I did in one of the rummage sale. I had the big box of 10 horror movies, and Howling 4, the original Nightmare, was in, and that movie was atrocious too. That made top 5 worst movies I've ever seen. It felt like watching that again. I couldn't believe it. I don't understand. I mean, and I know what the movie is too. The movie is some like Wattpad, Harry Styles / self-insert fan fiction that they turn into movies. Like, why are we still doing this? Why are we turning fan fiction into movies? I mean, isn't 50 Shades of Grey just fan fiction? I'm pretty sure that's just like Twilight fan fiction that got... Well, it was Twilight fan fiction that got made into a book, I believe. And then they made it into movies. So that's maybe. Then there was another movie with the kid from Super 8. Kissing Booth? Is that the movie? It was like it was like somebody's fan fiction that they just straight up turned fan fiction into a movie. Maybe it wasn't Kissing Booth. Maybe it was After. That's a movie. I think it's a Netflix original because I think they just made a sequel like After, and then the sequel is After We Collide. Like I don't understand this. I don't understand why we're giving. I don't understand why we're making fan fiction out of movies. I mean, why we're making movies out of fan fiction. I don't understand why we're letting, people famous from Vine be in movies. I half expected to see that King Batch guy who's showing up in terrible Netflix movies. I half expected him to show up in there. But this wasn't a Netflix movie. So congratulations, Netflix. You have it on your channel, so it's just another shitty movie that I can watch on Netflix. But you didn't make it, so I guess you get some props for there. But I mentioned, top 5 worst movies. I mean, top 10 worst movies of all time. You got a couple on there, so don't get too cocky, kid. I don't even want to think about this. I don't. She just dies. It makes me think about that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they're making the movie, and it's like it's the Dolph Lundgren thing. I probably didn't pronounce that right. Who cares? Like crime smell. It's like the crime. He smells crime. And Dennis is talking about the movie, and he goes, he smells crime, full penetration, crime, full penetration, crime, full penetration, and this goes on for an hour and a half until the movie just sort of ends. That line, until the movie just sort of ends, and that's what this movie did. This movie just sort of ended. She's pregnant. They want to get married. They go to some random person's wedding, and then she just dies. And the movie just ends. Another music song plays. And nobody is sane in this movie either. I mean, there's one older guy who's advising him. He seemed like the only person with half a brain, because at one point he was like, "I don't like you. You're causing a lot of problems. This whole situation is stupid." I'm like, yes, make this guy the main character. But no. Her parents don't see the red flags with this guy. They're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I'm a gangster." "Oh, that's interesting." Like, what? I guess her friend died too. She had some random friend she was hanging out with. when she was in the car with with the main girl. I guess the friend died as well. The friend briefly called her out on her bullshit. Like, you were kidnapped by this guy. Why are you, what are you doing? But then she's like, oh, I guess, okay, I guess you are in love with him. That's sure. Whatever. Fuck this movie.